Hi, Véronique.
Hi.
So, yoga is considered a mind-body therapy. Could you first explain what that means?
Sure. So, mind-body therapies look at the person from a holistic point of view, and they combine therapies based on the breath, the mind, the body to trigger the relaxation response and also to improve the overall well-being and health. So it could be yoga, tai chi, acupuncture.
So, how relevant is that approach to MS?
Well, we know that stress, in particular negative stress, has an impact on MS. It usually aggravates the MS symptoms. So it's important to find ways to be able to manage stressful situations. And also, we know that exercise is very, very good for people living with MS. And yoga is a great way to improve your strength, your flexibility, your balance, your posture. So it's a really good physical activity.
So, do you think yoga can affect the long-term evolution of MS?
It can definitely improve your overall well-being. You get stronger, you get more flexible, fitter, more resilient. Yoga also helps to reduce inflammation in the body. It helps to balance the hormone system. In fact, yoga works from different angles to improve the general well-being.
And is there any scientific evidence to back that up?
Yes, there are loads of research about the impact of yoga in general and also for people living with MS. However, we need to be careful because there are different types of yoga and they don't all have the same impact. So the benefits might vary based on the type of yoga that you do.
So, for those who haven't tried yoga before, can you explain what a yoga class looks like?
Sure. So in general, you will start with some warm-up, centering and then warm-up. So spinal warm-ups, warming up the joints, the muscles, and classes include breathing exercises, as well as a series of postures that the teacher chooses based on what the objectives are. In yoga therapy, the objectives will be to manage one specific symptoms. So, for instance, you could have a yoga therapy class for MS based on reducing spasticity or on reducing inflammation in the body, helping to sleep, and so on.
And what role does the breath play in yoga?
The breath is central in yoga. It's probably the most important part of the yoga practice, and we always synchronize the movement with the breath. There are so many different techniques, breathing techniques, that you can use to trigger relaxation or to increase energy or to sleep better. It's a huge part of the yoga practice.
So, is yoga similar to mindfulness?
It can be. It's not about what you do, but it's how you do it. So maybe you consider yoga as a purely physical activity to strengthen the muscles, to improve the flexibility or the balance. In this case, it might not be a mindfulness practice, but you can also do yoga focusing on the breath, drawing your attention to the sensations in your body, being present. In this case, it becomes a mindful movement practice.
So you must have heard many people say that they're not flexible enough or strong enough to do yoga. What's your answer to them?
For me, it's like saying oh, sorry, I cannot learn French because I don't speak French. You don't need to be flexible to do yoga, but you will become more flexible as you do yoga. And we have to be clear as well, being flexible is not the aim. A healthy muscle is not just flexible, it's strong as well. So we need to find the right balance between being more flexible and stronger. That is the aim.
And I understand you're an ambassador to the organisation Accessible Yoga. Why is that important to you? What does it stand for?
So Accessible Yoga is an association to basically make yoga accessible to everybody, no matter what their race, their religion, their physical limitations are. And for me it's really important because from my personal experience I know how empowering yoga is and how transformative it can be, and this is something that I would like to share with as many people as possible. And to do that, you just need to adapt yoga to what the person can do and what they need. And for people with MS, very often the limitations are more physical, but you can adapt yoga no matter what the physical limitations are. As long as you can breathe, you can do yoga. And I'd like to show one example of how to adapt yoga poses for different abilities. And I'd like to take one of the best known poses in yoga, the downward facing dog. So if you think of a dog stretching in the morning, this is what the pose is about. And we can start on all four and imagine the way a dog stretches in the morning. So they stretch the spine, really lengthening the spine and then lifting the bum. And this is what the pose is about. It's about lengthening the spine, stretching the back. But for many people, this pose would be quite challenging. So what you do when you adapt a yoga pose is you take the essence of the pose and then you try to recreate it in different ways. So the essence of the downward facing dog is the lengthening of the spine. But we can do that as well standing in front of a wall by placing the hands in front of us, at the height of the hips, and then walking back, bending the legs if we need to, and pressing on the wall to stretch, elongate the spine. So this is one variation of the downward facing dog on the wall. Another variation would be with a chair, and you can just place the chair in front of you, and instead of placing the hands on the floor, you place them on the chair, which makes it easier, more accessible. And then you walk back, bending the legs if you need to, and think of elongating the spine, lengthening the spine, relaxing the head. So this is another version of the downward facing dog. You can also do it sitting. So placing the chair in front of the wall, the hands are at shoulders width, and you lean forward, lengthening the back. Here again, this is downward facing dog, adapted for chair practice. So you can really adapt yoga to your body and your needs.
Great, thank you. So what would be your advice to someone who wanted to try a yoga class for the first time?
Well, I would say go and talk to the teacher. I think it's really important to be honest and say what your limitations are, or maybe if you are a little bit worried about something, tell the teacher and say what your aims are. why you want to practice yoga. And most of the yoga teachers will be more than happy to let you come to a class just to try it, whether it's a class in a studio or online.
Thank you.
You're welcome.